welcome back to the Arcade Veteran. Today we're going to talk about my Sega TeraDrive Model 3. I've had this unit quite a while. I'm going to talk about some of its features. Here's the front of the unit. They're the joystick ports and the MegaDrive side. A reset button, MegaDrive PC switch, the volume control, headphone jack, the power on and off, the keyboard and mouse ports, and the floppy drive. You notice that little black flap there on the top? That's where the Mega CD add-on went that never materialised. That's the specific mouse for the unit. It's an IBM PC compatible, released in 1991. It's a 286, so it was already pretty much out of date. The MegaDrive side was standard with the Motorola 68000 and the Zilog Z80. My Model 3 came with a 2.5 meg RAM standard, one floppy drive and a 30 meg hard drive. This is the back of the unit, the AC inputs, your normal COM ports, on a pretty much standard PC at the time. You had composite output. You can see there I've done a compact flash conversion. So these are the internals of the system. I've put up a screenshot there of the Amstrad Mega PC. They share a lot in common. The main difference is that the Amstrad Mega PC had a separate Sega ISA card that went into a standard PC, but you switch between the two. You do switch between the two on the TeraDrive, but the TeraDrive shared one motherboard and was basically shared a lot of its resources and was built from the ground up to be a dedicated system. That's the power switch. This is housed at the back of the unit. Here's the processors and chips inside the unit. You can see some bodge wires from, even though this was Model 3, it still got some bodge wires that Sega did from its original. That's the hard drive. That's my compact flash, my XT CF compact flash conversion card. Just booting the TeraDrive up now. Had a bit of a problem with this unit. It wouldn't read the floppy drive. That's why it's in bits at the moment. That's the front end you're presented with when you put the PC side on. That's the cart slot there and the Mega CD add-on slot. And there's the hard drive. Floppy drive's out of it at the minute. Like I say, I've been having some problems with the unit not being able to read floppies. Originally it came with DOS-V. Obviously I can't read any of that, so I decided to do a compact flash conversion. Keep the original hard drive. There's nothing wrong with the original hard drive. It does work. But I wanted to swap it over to an English version of DOS, so I put DOS version 3.1 on it. But this is your front end where you can drop down into DOS, as you can see. In the main screen is obviously DOS-V. It does ship with version 4, but this actually, if you take note of the screen on the left, you can see that it does actually say it's version 5. On the small window, that's the English version of Windows booting up as well. Just a little bit of a comparison just to show what DOS-V actually looks like, because it's pretty much the first time I've ever come across anything like it. You can make out some of the basics just from the icons really, but I've got no idea what it's obviously saying. The mouse control on this is pretty nice and smooth. It's a nice mouse, it's not a cheap thing. Nothing about this machine was ever really cheap. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So let's finish up on this. I'm just having a nose around DOS-V just to see if I could maybe change the language. I couldn't find anything, so I give up in the end, and that's why I intended to put on normal Windows. Tiny little speaker in the back. You can output your own through the phono connections, but I was quite impressed actually with the volume of the little speaker in the back, considering how tiny it is when you actually look at it. Screen resolution, considering this is straight into a digital monitor, it's not too bad. It's not as crystal clear as I'd hoped. I wouldn't have said the RGB output is the best I've ever seen, but it's running at the right frame rate. It's not slow like a PAL version, so it's quite nice and speedy. Sounds pretty good out of that little speaker. I don't know how well you can hear it, but it does seem pretty good. Mortal Kombat's always a bit of a tester of mine, just to see how responsive, what sort of lag you got from the machine, what sort of a games machine was it. To be fair, it's no different to a MegaDrive. Everything plays and works exactly the same. The processor in the PC side only actually runs at 10 MHz. 2.5 meg was the highest supported RAM at the time. The TeraDrive was announced in the towards the end of 1990 in Japan, and was opted to use Sonic the Hedgehog to demonstrate the ability to run MegaDrive games on it. However, at launch it was not possible to play Sonic on the TeraDrive, as the game was not released in Japan until early July. That means that all the marketing promotional material were just prototypes of the games. So just picking Sonic the Hedgehog for the next game. This was the first game I ever played on a Mega Drive, was Sonic the Hedgehog. Went to my friend's house and he was busy playing it, and I couldn't believe, coming from an Amiga and some of the older machines, the Atari ST and stuff like that, to see how easy this machine was to play and set up, and it was just so easy really. That was I think one of the biggest things, and the graphics that it could shunt around for such a small little machine. I think Sonic the Hedgehog will always go down as one of the fastest and best games of that era. Did give poor old Mario a run for his money. The Mega Drive inside of the TeraDrive is identical to a standard NTSC-J console, but lacks any support for the Mega CD and the 32X, even though there was a port on the top, but like I said, no peripheral was ever released. It was pretty much thought that poor sales of the TeraDrive meant that the development of the add-on was cancelled before even a prototype stage. Okay, Streets of Rage 3. Don't know why I put this one in really. Streets of Rage 2 is my favourite. I've never really give this one a chance. I put it in and the characters didn't really click with me. Much preferred Streets of Rage 2. This is alright, don't get me wrong, it plays alright. I don't think it just seems an add-on. It doesn't really seem like a new game. It could have been just a bit of DLC. The TeraDrive had a unique BIOS and menu system, as you've seen earlier. It did ship with the DOS-V version 4, and it was expected to run all of the Windows software, no problem. It was also advertised at some point to have Windows 3, but I've never seen actually a version released with Windows 3 as standard. My Windows 3.1 obviously I've loaded in just because I've done a compact flash conversion. So this is the machine, yes, it should have a CRT. That BenQ multi-sync monitor allows me to use both sides because of the different refresh rates. I think it's got 15 and 31 kilohertz of the refresh rates, so you need a multi-sync monitor, and it originally came with the CRT monitor. It took me about 5 years to get a mouse for this, and I'm still looking for a keyboard, but they are pretty rare things. So well, that's pretty much it. That's the Sega TeraDrive. Absolute great little machine, quite expensive nowadays, quite hard to come by, but anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers, bye.